Hey guys, I don't know if you've noticed, but loads of cars are dying out. Cars we used to love are being cancelled left, right and centre. Why? Well, we're in the middle of one of the biggest changes to the automobile industry since the very beginning. We're moving out of the internal combustion engine age, the Ice Age, see what I did there, and into the electric one. People are changing their tastes and switching from saloons and hatchbacks to SUVs, and car makers are struggling to make money on small cars. And as we navigate these huge changes in what we buy and how we buy, we've got a bit of a generational evolution as many long-standing names and even whole genres disappear. If you're a subscriber to the channel, then you probably already know, given the number of farewell-themed videos I've been doing lately. There's plenty of new stuff coming in, of course, much of it super cool and really exciting, but I want to take a moment and pay tribute to some of the much-loved cars that we'll be saying farewell to in the not-too-distant future. Rust in peace. Okay, first up is the Nissan GTR, a car we all know as Godzilla, a nickname originally adopted to imply awesome power and strength, but maybe more recently symbolizes a car that became a bit of a dinosaur. I can't quite believe we first saw the GTR in 2007, 16 years ago, and it was only last year I was driving it for a farewell video, and in that time, it hardly seemed to change at all. Okay, sure, it got a bit more power every year, and there were the crazy 600 horsepower Nismo versions, but think how much other fast cars have developed in that period. One example for you, we've had 4 generations of V8 Ferrari Berlinetta in the time the GTR has been on sale. As I found out last year though, the GTR was a thriller until the very end. I'm sorry, what's that? Wait, hold on. Okay, yeah, no, news just in from Tokyo. It seems the GTR isn't completely dead, at least not in Japan. Yeah, okay, 16 years on from that first unveiling, Nissan has just pulled the covers off 2 new versions, including an even more mad-looking Nismo Special Edition with a crazy wing, body kit, and some new seats. But what's that? We're never gonna get it. Okay, we're never gonna get it. Okay, no, RIP. Moving on, next to be pensioned off in 2023 is the Ford Fiesta. The Fiesta has been an institution on British roads since 1976. I had one, you probably had one. Most of us over a certain age probably learned to drive in one. It was the biggest selling car in the UK for 12 years in a row until 2020 and still popular today. But last year, Ford confirmed it's changing its portfolio as it electrifies, and there's no space for the Fiesta in those plans. But why kill it? Well, it comes down to a number of factors. First of all, people are falling out of love with hatchbacks. The kind of people who used to buy Fiestas now prefer crossovers. So now we have the Ford Puma, which ironically is kind of based on the Fiesta anyway. Then there's the fact that it's just really, really hard to make money on high volume, low cost cars like the Fiesta. Back in the day, Ford's business case was all about the economies of scale and making millions of them, but the increasing complexity of our cars and the need to include some kind of electrification with hybridization and the ever more sophisticated safety systems customers either expect or regulators demand means it's pretty much impossible to make a profit on a small, cheap car. People might still be buying them, but there's no money in them. Next is the Focus. Yeah, hard to believe, but this other bastion of volume sales here in the UK is also living on borrowed time. And while it's got a little bit longer to live than the Fiesta, the direction of travel is clear. And the car that was once a fixture of British roads will be disappearing before you know it. Well, 2025 to put a number on it. Why? Similar reasons to the Fiesta. Ford is also making its switch to electrification faster and more decisively than many of its rivals, and is being pretty brutal in turning that great big ship around. Now, this comes off the back of an announcement a couple of years ago where it said that by 2026, its European product range will be, in its words, 100% zero emissions capable, which is to say battery electric or plug-in hybrid, and totally pure electric by 2030. It's invested $1 billion in its German factory in Cologne, where its first European-developed EV will be built later this year. It seems mad to think of the Focus as dead wood that needs cutting away, but it looks like Ford is wielding that axe. moving on, I want to ask myself a question now. Looking back at the last couple of years, how many final Lamborghini Huracans have I driven? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Honestly, I've lost count. When I drove the STO, which was like an Evo, but for the track, I said that that was the end of the road for the Huracan. But then they made the Technica, which was like an STO for the road. And that was supposed to be a spectacular final blast, only seemingly not, because Lamborghini then announced that they're gonna do one more final Huracan called the Stirato. It's an off-road version, a bit like the 911 Dakar that I recently tested. Check the link down below for that review. Now, once they release that, it's the end for the Huracan. It has to be, surely. How much longer can they pull it off? Everybody else is making cleaner, quieter cars. Even Ferrari have hybrids. No, I have it on good authority from Lambo that the Stirato is the final one. I also have it on very good authority that they're killing off the big dog, the Aventador. Crazy to believe it was on sale for over a decade, but even crazier to think that people weren't actually that crazy about it to begin with. Given this was an all-new Lamborghini with a 700 horsepower V12, a gearbox so fierce it gave you concussion, banging your head on the seat on every upshift, scissor doors, and a full carbon fiber structure, what wasn't there to like? Truthfully, the handling actually played it a little bit safe and it never danced like the Huracan, but over the years, Lamborghini sorted that all out. They've added four-wheel steering to make it drive like a car half its size and weight. The V12 got steadily more aggro, and they provided the foundations for various mad offshoots like the Veneno and the hybridized Sian, and of course, the reborn Countach. For me though, it's the SVJ Roadster that will always hold a place in my heart. A spectacular up yours to anyone who thought the original was rubbish. Ciao, Aventador. I'll miss you. Okay, down the road at Maranello, it seems we're saying goodbye to another incredible Italian supercar, although for very different reasons. The Ferrari F8 Tributo has hardly been around for that long, or so it seems, but you can't buy one anymore. Why is that? Well, as ever, Ferrari doesn't really talk about such things, very secretive, so we're left to speculate. And thinking about it, maybe the F8 was only ever really a stopgap between the pure ICE V8 Berlinettas like the 308, 348, 355, 360, 430, and more recently the 458 and 488. Sorry, that's a lot of fabulous cars and also a lot of numbers. I'll get to the point. Now we have the 296 GTB, a new hybridized symbol of Ferrari's electrified future, which is faster, fresher, and way more technologically advanced than the F8. I bet you that that car is also more profitable for Ferrari as well. So what's the point in building F8s if you can just build 296 GTBs? Make more cash, keep your average emissions down. Makes a lot of sense, right? Whatever the reason, right now, you can't walk into a Ferrari dealership and order an F8 Tributo. So therefore, it's game over. Ferrari isn't the only supercar brand axing its ICE all-stars to make way for the hybridized future either. As I've talked about on the channel before, challenges ranging from stricter noise regulations to increasingly stringent fleet average emissions are especially tough if your business is making fast, noisy, emission-y cars. Electrifying the McLaren range hasn't gone entirely smoothly, let's say, but the new Artura is the brand's first plug-in hybrid, and it means farewell to the 720S. Why? Well, look at it this way. As amazing as the idea of an ICE McLaren with over 700 horsepower might sound, the Artura makes it look old. Now remember, P1 aside, this is McLaren's first proper step into hybridization with one of its regular models, and the combination of V6 petrol engine and electric motor already delivers 680 horsepower. Sure, the 720S had 720 horsepower, but the Artura makes more sense. It's a better, nicer car with a damn near identical 0 to 62 time, and it can drive on electric power alone, which is why I call it the silent assassin. The brand's future is the Artura, the 720S is its past. Goodbye. Now, to another car we're saying adios to in 2023. Actually, it's a car we've only just said hello to, This being the Toyota GR86, the car that famously was only on sale for 90 minutes, an hour and a half. Yeah, you heard me correctly. Now, here's what happened. Basically, Toyota had a very narrow window in which to market the GR86 on the basis that new safety regulations coming in for 2024 would make the car illegal to sell in Europe. Not a situation any car maker wants to find itself in. Here's the deal. Features like intelligent speed assistance, it's not really that intelligent, and emergency lane keeping system are now compulsory, and it's simply impossible for Toyota to add those into the GR86. Maybe a bit short-sighted of them, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. So Toyota had to fix the production run for its European allocation at an amount it knew it could sell before 2024. That number was set. UK orders opened in April last year, and they were all sold out within 90 minutes. Good news for the lucky few, because the GR86 is the perfect back-to-basics affordable sports car and a big step up from the GT86 it's based on. You just can't buy one, sorry. Meanwhile, over at Audi, we've got two fond farewells to make, the first being to the TT. Now, this one seems a bit unexpected to me, given the fact that the TT has always been about style first, and there's nothing to say that that couldn't survive the transition to electrification. Why couldn't Audi do a funky remix on the MEB electric platform that they've been using for everything from the VW ID3 to the e-tron? I mean, after all, if those same bits can be turned into a hatchback or an SUV, or in the case of the ID Buzz, a van, then why couldn't Audi make a super desirable electric coupe? I don't know, maybe they will in the future, but for now, the TT is another car on the long list of ones I seem to have been saying farewell to on the channel over the last 12 months. And that includes the R8. Basically, Audi's take on the Hurricane. It has the same structure underneath, the same glorious high-revving V10 engine, and a lot of the attitude, just more Audi. Don't get me wrong, I love the wildness of the Hurricane, but the R8 to me has always had most of the same character, just in a package you can drive every day, like a TT. Now for the R8's last hurrah, Audi has unleashed a bit more of that Lambo attitude with the R8 V10 GT rear-wheel drive, which combines all the best bits of the car into a rear-driven, aero-kitted hooligan that seems determined to take this iconic car out in a blaze of glory or tire smoke. 620 horsepower, carbon body kit, a new torque rear driving mode, and a host of fancy trimmings make this a very special R8. But when you scroll further down the spec and you see numbers like CO2 of 340 grams per kilometer and combined fuel consumption of 18 miles per gallon, you realize why, in the modern climate, the days of cars like this are numbered. Don't cry. If all of this sounds a bit gloomy, trust me, there's still plenty to get excited about on the way. And while we salute the fallen, we can do so, celebrating the good times we've had, and look forward to more of the same in the next generation of cars coming our way. Sure, they won't be the same, but it doesn't mean they won't be fun. Watch this space, and I'll show you the good ones. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Peace.